Welcome, listeners, collectors, friends. Dr. J's Beckett Sports Card Insights here with Chris Carlin today from Upper Deck. We're going to hear Chris's origin story. I have many sponsors, though. Upper Deck is going to be number one for the next 15 minutes. But I have several others: Beckett Media, Beckett Grading, Beckett Authentication, ComC, COMC.com, Heritage Auctions, Huggins and Scott Auctions, Burbank Sports Cards, Mike's Stadium Sports Cards, as well as two other card companies, Panini and Topps. But Chris and I are going to talk about his origin story, and he's had many interesting roles at Upper Deck. I thought, Chris, most of them have been in what you're doing now, customer experience. You've always had some connection to the customer, haven't you? So, Chris, welcome to the show.
That's been great. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we've been trying to do this for a while. I really love engaging with our fans. There's just so much that comes from those interactions, whether it be an idea for a new product or some type of feedback on how we can get better, or just seeing their smiles when they're opening up products. That's always been something I've been really passionate about. And then trying to tell their stories in unique ways. We've had a number of events recently and been able to tell some really cool stories at upperdeckblog.com. But yeah, I just love working with customers. So it's always fun getting out to events or getting into hobby shops when I'm traveling. And meeting them first face to face.
Well, you seem like a real people person, but what's your background, either educational or prior work that puts you in position to have this really fun job that you have?
Well, Upper Deck was really my first job out of college. I've been here for almost 22 years, right around Thanksgiving. Wow. I started as a temporary associate with Upper Deck. And
awesome.
I had a buddy that was living down in Carlsbad, and I'm from Mission Viejo, which is a little bit north of here in California. And he had a great place for the summer. He said, "Why don't you come on down?" And it was after college. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. And I lived with him, and I just looked at what was in the area, and I saw Upper Deck, and I was like, "Holy cow!" I have three older brothers, right? So I collected a ton when I was growing up, and sold most of my cards off during college. But it was 80s junk wax anyway, so that was fine. And I got out of it at the right time, I guess. And it was just all these memories started flooding back to me of growing up with Upper Deck, of laying all the cards out on the floor, and my mom letting the dog in, and dog running over the cards, and me having like a Category 5 meltdown of like, no! So I even wrote a letter to Upper Deck when I was younger, just asking if I could buy direct. We still get those letters from kids, which is really funny. So I had all these great memories, and I went in and told them I was a passionate fan, and what can I do? How can I get started here? And they really did start me off at quite the bottom, I would say. And that was fine by me. I was willing to show I would do whatever it takes to move my way up and show how passionate I am about the industry. So my first job was an athlete used the wrong pen to sign his Upper Deck autograph cards, and they bled onto the back of all the other cards. So it was me and two other guys. The guys are wearing like cutoff jeans and, T-shirts. I'm in a suit and tie and trying to impress. And we're using alcohol swabs and Q-tips to wipe off the backs, but you couldn't get it on the side where it was cut because then that would damage the card. So I cleaned the hell out of those cards, Jim, and I worked my way up into our quality assurance department, where we're filling orders for damaged cards and things along those lines. But I think they could, as I started to get to know staff here, they could kind of tell I had a gift for gab, and I moved into our customer care department, and I had a sales and marketing internship and management internship during college, and I really liked that. So I was able to move into a management position after a while with Upper Deck in our customer care group. I did some sales and then started managing the sales part of our sales team, and did that for a long time, and then helped us move out to Las Vegas back in the Yu-Gi-Oh boom, and that was really interesting. I basically had to start up a whole new team out there. And did that for a couple of years. And the summers in Vegas are very hot. And I was starting to miss California a little bit. So after 2.5 years, I kind of looked for opportunities back at Carlsbad. And there was opportunity for a hobby marketing manager. And I had worked with so many shops over the years and really had a good feel for what products moved and what promotions were needed to support products and customers, that it was kind of a no-brainer. So I moved back to Carlsbad and did that. And then recently last year, I took back over the customer care group while still doing a lot with marketing and handling a lot of our social media and advertising and a bit of our PR. So It's been a lot of fun. And there's that old saying, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I kind of feel like that, although don't tell Upper Deck. I don't want them to stop paying me.
Well, no, I had perhaps a similar experience back when I was in charge at Beckett Publications. And basically, when we hired people right out of college, and we hired some of them were interns, but when they came in, it was their very first job. It was just that you could break the employees into two groups: those who had had a job before somewhere else, and those who hadn't. The ones that were coming straight out of college, they just thought this is the way it was in every job. But the guys that came from and gals who came from other positions said, "No, it's not that it was such a great company, although we did our best, but it was, you're working in an industry that's really based on hobby and enthusiasm and passion, and they're working alongside others that shared the same excitement. And so it was a dream job, I think, for some of our people, and especially like you, ones that came right out of college, jumped in with both feet. They didn't have to unlearn any other bad corporate habits. They just jumped in, learned our systems, and really enjoyed the people. And I'm sure Upper Deck had a lot of that same esprit de corps over the years.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, I remember asking right around this time, "What do you want for Christmas?" And it would always be, "I got to have my subscription of Beckett magazine" when I was a young kid. So
okay.
I appreciate you for that, because really that was a lot of the learning that I had about the industry. It was, okay, how are they advertising? What are their, what do you get in a box? And what are the collector's stories? And reading some of your letters to the editor, or your monthly posts. It was really cool to read, and it gave me a foundation of knowledge that I still carry with me today. So I'm very appreciative of that.
Well, thanks, Chris. My first career was being a professor, and so I still have kind of the desire to teach. Maybe this podcast is a little bit of teaching. Yeah. My second career was being a consultant, and so I also like to do kind of consulting. I'm kind of a pro bono consultant. That just means somebody that gives free advice. But and then in the price guide days, the publishing days, it just was there was a real need there for people to be educated, not just about business, but about what cards were worth, and leveling the playing field so that younger people would not be taken advantage of. And it sounds like you're probably a pretty sharp young kid who held his own and then wound up at Upper Deck. So that's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So you don't feel like you missed out on anything. I mean, nowadays people over 22 years, they haven't had 22 jobs or anything, but I bet a lot of your contemporaries have have had several stints. And, I'm sure you don't have regrets.
I've had other companies come to me, and I've definitely had some other opportunities presented. But at the end of the day, I really feel like Upper Deck is a passion brand. One of those special places where you can work, where you just care so much about it, and you're absolutely right. Like it is one of those things where it's so much fun to teach people about the hobby and to educate them and make them aware of, did you know you could get this from a pack of cards today? And here's how ePack works. Look at how cool this new technology is. And there's something really fulfilling about that and satisfying, and seeing the lights go on in people's heads. Because to me, and I think 95% of the people at the company here at Upper Deck, the cards are nice, but it's really about that emotional connection you can have through the trading cards, and how you can use our products to make memories that really last a lifetime with families, and be ingrained in the culture of sports and entertainment and just family hobbies. So at the end of the day, it's a piece of 2.5 by 3.5 cardstock, but to me and many others, it can mean so much more.
Well, in your 22 years, you've seen the company go from, and your role and your ability to, tout and enjoy and promote. It's gone from kind of a multi-sport licensed company to a smaller set of licenses. But Upper Deck really was the first one to, I think, really lock in on the Michael Jordans and the Tiger Woods and LeBron James, and really lock up those guys to where even if you don't have the full licensing in the sport, you've got some amazing memorabilia, cards and collectibles for some of the very top, most well-known athletes in the world. And is that, I mean, I guess that's got to be a lot of fun for you if you're a baseball fan, or basketball or football.
Players, for sure. It's great working with them. And I think that was the vision of Richard McWilliam, our founder, was that Upper Deck is always going to be known as the best. And there's other trading cards, there's other manufacturers out there for memorabilia, but he wanted it to be the best of the best and the most premium. So when he chased down and signed athletes like LeBron James, Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky to long-term deals for exclusives on memorabilia, it was really awesome because it kind of set the stage for what we are today. And with those athletes, I mean, having the best collectibles of them. I mean, I'm about to jump on upperdeckstore.com right now, just to look at some of our sales we're going to have for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, to some potential gifts for the family, because it's all cool. It's not just a jersey framed jersey anymore. It's these amazing breaking through pieces and curved displays, and the innovations that we've made with regard to memorabilia are pretty groundbreaking. The show displays where it's a huge signature of the athlete. It's the products we're making just always kind of leave my jaw dropping. And whenever they're in someone's office or home or man cave, they immediately draw attention from whoever happens to be visiting, right? So I love that about it. But just the dynamic of how the industry has changed over the years is pretty fascinating. I mean, when I came to Upper Deck in '97, we were starting out with the NBA lockout and for the 97-98 season. And we often say that we're about as nimble as an oil tanker. It's very hard to stop the presses, so to speak, if something's coming, because we work on projects so far out in advance. And at that time, we had spent a lot of money signing Kobe Bryant, and we had Michael Jordan, and there was just a lot of dollars in play for basketball because we expected things to go really well. And then all of a sudden they're not playing, and no one wants basketball, and everyone's upset at basketball players and owners and leagues. And we lost a lot of money. It was a really difficult time, and we had had to cut staff, and it was pretty significant. I was worried, but then I found out later, as one of the new guys making next to nothing, I wasn't really on the hopper. It was more the bigger salary. So it was a difficult time, but you know what? Our management team learned from that there are always going to be labor disputes. I mean, if you look at what's happening in the writing on the wall for football, it looks like there is going to be a labor dispute very soon there. Yeah. So what can we do as manufacturers to, I guess, similar to your own investing, is how do you make sure that you have a little something in everything, so don't have all your eggs in one basket. Right. So we looked at what else is out there. What else can we make outside of just standard sports cards? And that's when we found out about, the collectible card games. And we really made a major play in there. We had I think our first release was like a product called Digimon. And, we were just feeling it out and trying to figure that category and space out and distribution and sales. But we really hit it with Yu-Gi-Oh! And I know sports fans may not know a lot about Yu-Gi-Oh!, but it's very similar to Pokemon. And it was great for me because we would take a lot of, the profits from a release like that and reinvest it into sports cards and signing deals with bigger athletes. And then we started working with Marvel. And we said, it's not like Wolverine is going to go on strike or, Captain America is going to have a labor dispute. So these guys were always going to be in play for us. And some of the things that our partners at Marvel have done, Marvel Studios in particular, have done with pumping up that category and those characters has been amazing. So being longstanding partners with them now and putting out some amazing Upper Deck Entertainment products on the Marvel side has been great. We've expanded that to Alien and Predator and X-Files, and that's been really great to see because, again, as leagues started consolidating down to one license, we saw that really start with apparel. And then we approached the NHL about going exclusive when they were in the midst of a labor dispute. And we were the first company to secure that. But we saw other companies take exclusive ownership of licenses for trading cards, which I know is a source of frustration with some collectors out there for sure. And it makes me frustrated. We're not making baseball products. I think Grant Sandground. He's been at the bit to make some Upper Deck products again. But it's just how things are moving right now, but there's always changes that can happen, and there's always, licensing is a dynamic type of situation. So we'll just keep fighting the good fight there.
Yeah, Chris, we're out of time, but I know we could go on for a long time, and hopefully, but I was just going to tell the listeners, Chris had me at Yu-Gi-Oh! We had the same experience with that, doing it, because again, we were mainly sports, but that some of those non-sports products allowed us to take what we could do off that and plow back into reinvesting into other things. So out of time. Thanks, Chris. I definitely want to have you back for some more episodes, but we're out of time today. Listeners, thanks for your attention. Be sure to check out upperdeck.com, and we'll be back again tomorrow with another episode.